Let me first start by congratulating Jalen Hurts for getting a 5-year, $255 million extension, which includes $179 million guaranteed. I think when you talk about like total pay or something, Jalen Hurts would be or is currently the highest paid player in NFL history. When you're talking about like annual salary or something like that. If you really look at it, yes, Carson Wentz had a very, very brief run. And, of course, Nick Foles did what he did in the playoffs. But Jalen Hurts has been the best quarterback that the Eagles have had in recent memory. I think the last one that you can kind of compare him to is Donovan McNabb. So when you have a quarterback that has proven to be one of the best quarterbacks in your franchise currently, and he leads you to a Super Bowl, I can appreciate and I love the fact that the Eagles did what was right. They understood, okay, we just got to the Super Bowl. It doesn't even matter if they get to the Super Bowl again. I think, of course, that's what they're banking on, but they locked up their prized possession. They locked up their best player. And maybe even if you want to argue if he is the best player or not, he is one of the most important players. He is probably the most important player. Now, do I think that he is the best quarterback in the league? Of course not. And I also don't think that value comes from being paid the most. We'll talk about that in a second, but I don't think value, like Kirk Cousins is one of the highest paid players in the league. I don't think he is the best quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I can appreciate and I do like the fact that the Eagles did what was right and paid Jalen Hurts what he felt he was worth and what they feel he was worth. Now, one thing that I can appreciate is when an organization does right for a player, they also do right for themselves. And even though you look at $255 million, $179 million guaranteed, and look, that's astronomical, that's crazy, that's a big number. The Eagles still, for lack of a better term, made it a team-friendly deal. And now you're still able to sign players. You're still able to bolster the team because the team did lose a good number of people in free agency. And now you're still able, you still give yourself wiggle room to sign key pieces. I think Jalen Hurts did deserve this contract. Again, when you look at the Eagles and you look at the recent history, Nick Foles had an incredible playoff run, which of course ultimately won the Eagles their first Super Bowl in franchise history. But again, Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, I will say this, and I've come on here several times and I've said where I was wrong at. I was wrong about Jalen Hurts. Again, let me remind you about the Jalen Hurts that we have seen. We saw Jalen Hurts that, of course, went to Alabama, got benched in the national championship for Tua Tagovailoa, goes to Oklahoma. While, yes, he was a Heisman finalist and everything, he didn't. Of course, Oklahoma didn't really win anything. They won games, of course, but they didn't win like the national championship or anything like that. You go to the Eagles, one of the worst records in the league when he first gets there. He's considered more of a project than anything else. And then, of course, you remember the play when he made them. Well, he took them to the playoffs, and they went up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' game plan was make Jalen Hurts pass the ball. If we lose because he throws 300, 400 yards, that's okay. It is what it is. It was just their day. And Jalen Hurts struggled mightily. But then, again, one thing that I will say, and I can appreciate this, and I love this actually, is Jalen Hurts has improved year after year after year to now one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Not the best, of course, but one of the best. And a quarterback that deserves this type of money. Now, I hear a lot of people looking at this deal, saying the people that believe Jalen Hurts doesn't deserve this money. A lot of the people are saying the biggest reason why the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl was the defense. The defense was historically one of the greatest defenses. If you just look at stats, one of the greatest defenses of all time. And Jalen Hurts didn't have to do that much, especially when you look at the passing yards. His rushing yards were up there, but you look at the passing yards and everything, it's like he didn't have to do much for them to get to the Super Bowl. And I will, I guess, contest that and say, well, again, one of the examples that I love using when describing or talking about quarterbacks is the 49ers. The 49ers for a couple years now, in my opinion, have had the best roster in football. From top to bottom, they have had the best roster in football. And honestly, if just roster mattered, the 49ers would be a multiple time Super Bowl, like reigning Super Bowl champions. The reason why the 49ers have not won a Super Bowl in the last few years, even though I believe they've had the best roster, is because of the quarterback position. Football is one of those sports where it doesn't matter it doesn't matter to a certain extent how good your entire roster is. If you do not have a quarterback, it does not matter. Shouts out to Brock Purdy, shouts out to Trey Lance, shouts out to Jimmy G. They're not getting it done. And I always look at it like this. Let's say Joe Burrow was the quarterback for the 49ers. Do you think that they won a Super Bowl? What if Justin Herbert? What if Patrick Mahomes? What if Aaron Rodgers? What if Tom Brady? What if Super Bowl or quarterbacks that we believe will win a Super Bowl at least once in their career, or quarterbacks that have won Super Bowl, quarterbacks that we believe are top of the game, if they were the quarterback for the 49ers, do you think that they would have won a championship? Let me bring that back to the Eagles. Yes, the Eagles had an incredible defense. Yes, the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in football with Lane Johnson, with Jason Kelce. But it doesn't matter if you do not have the quarterback position locked up, and they do with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts proved, at least last year, that he is a top 10 quarterback. A lot of people are arguing he's top 5. And you're paying a top 10, top 5, arguably quarterback what he deserves, $255 million, $179 guaranteed, which is that's pretty much the market now. And speaking of market, let me go to the second part of it. No, actually, congratulations again to Jalen Hurts for getting this contract. Definitely well deserved. But let me go to the second part of this topic. And that is, of course, whenever you hear about a quarterback now getting a deal or getting an extension, the conversation is usually going to revert to Lamar Jackson. Because, of course, as we know, Lamar Jackson is fighting in contract negotiations with the Ravens to get him a contract. And when you look at other people's contracts, you're going to ask, does this help Lamar Jackson? Does this hurt Lamar Jackson as far as his chances on getting what he's asking for? Jalen Hurts' contract is a huge win for not only the Ravens, but the market. And let me tell you why. Let me first explain the market. Oh, damn, my phone. Let me first explain the market. And because I see a lot of people that have been commenting under my videos and everything, commenting under my Lamar Jackson videos, they don't understand market. The market is set usually after the last guy gets paid. The last top guy gets paid. Let me say that. The market is forever changing. The market in 2004 is definitely not the market in 2023. The market in 2012 changes, because if you look at the money that quarterbacks and players in general was making in 2012, it is drastically different than what is being made in 2023. So the market is forever changing, and it's usually when the highest number, or the person with the highest number usually sets the market. The thing that people don't understand is just because the market is set doesn't mean that everyone needs to get paid that amount. It just means that's where the market is set. That's the highest amount. Let me first explain why this is a huge win for the market. The market was set, or a lot of people expected the market to be set where Deshaun Watson got his, 230 fully guaranteed or something like that. The Cleveland Browns set a market that nobody wanted to reach. You saw people after like Kyler Murray, like Russell Wilson, both serviceable, really good quarterbacks at the time, get paid under or less than what Deshaun Watson made. That didn't reset the market because the market was still there, and there were still people, i.e. Lamar Jackson, demanding, from what we've been told, demanding Deshaun Watson money. That is still the market. But let me tell you again why this Jalen Hurts contract helps that and kind of reshapes the market. Because when one person does something and you see everybody after that do something different, that means that person didn't set the market. They're just the outlier. If you see somebody like, again, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and now Jalen Hurts get different deals, or deals less than Deshaun Watson, and you don't see anybody else get Deshaun Watson money, Deshaun Watson was the market for a minute. Now they're just considered the outlier. And when you have a Super Bowl qualifying quarterback, or a quarterback that led his team to the Super Bowl, now take less than Deshaun Watson, you can't then say, hey, I still am looking at Deshaun Watson, especially if you're Patrick Mahomes, then yes, you can look at Deshaun Watson's deal and say, I deserve more than that. And you would be absolutely correct. You have won, two Super Bowls? You've been to 3? Then yes, someone like a Patrick Mahomes can say, I'm looking at what Deshaun Watson makes, and I feel I deserve more than that. He's a multiple-time MVP, multiple-time Super Bowl champion. Deserved, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.